if your houseplants have seen better days, our next guest is here to help them flourish once again. We welcome plant expert Cynthia Valenti. Welcome.
Hi.
We have lots of plants in front of us that are beautiful in different ways, but they also need a little love.
Yes, indeed. And that happens at the best of us.
Yeah. Even no matter what season, there's different things that can kind of contribute to that. So should we start with some of these guys over here?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I see some brown leaves. What's happening with a couple of these guys?
So this spider plant has some tips that are turning brown, and that's a classic sign of overwatering.
Okay.
When you touch the soil here, it doesn't really feel like it, but actually it is quite wet. So you can't really fix that once it's like that, but new growth, you can save it by just adjusting how much watering.
Okay. Just give it some time.
Yeah.
Do you want to trim off the dead stuff, or will it take care of itself?
That's an aesthetic choice of your own.
Okay.
I usually kind of leave it alone unless it's like this one's pretty long. So
yeah.
Otherwise, you know, just this new growth doesn't have any on it, so just want to hope for new, healthy growth.
Okay,
yeah.
Pull back on the watering a little bit. Is this a similar story here?
And light.
Okay.
No, actually, this is underwater because this soil is quite dry and lack of light. This plant loves light. And the more light it gets, the more this purple will be intense. But it's a semi-succulent, so you know, succulents really like lots and lots of light and lots of warmth.
Okay. So we need a better window seat for that plant, maybe.
Yeah, but not too close to the window when it's cold out, because the temperature can be like 10 degrees colder at the window than it is like into the room.
There's a lot of trial and error involved in this. So over versus underwatering, how do you kind of find the sweet spot?
Well, I always tell my clients and friends, don't set the same day every week that you water. Set the same day every week to check if you need to water.
Oh, okay.
And so you're going around doing a checkup rather than just watering blindly. And so when you put your finger into the soil up to like about your first knuckle, you can start to feel like, is it dry, is it damp, or not?
Okay.
And so the ones that need it, water it then. And if they don't, check in another 2 days or 3 days.
Okay.
And so you might get like a 7-day rotation of plants and a 10-day rotation of plants.
Right.
Or you might just have a 7 and 14 day, which would mean every week, every other week. Plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your plants will tell you. You just have to pay attention.
Yeah, you have to. They'll tell you every time, but also the soil too. Yeah.
Sure. What about water meters? Helpful, not helpful, depending?
Yeah, I brought this one today. This is my old one that broke, and I find that especially beginners, they'll get these and they'll put them in the soil, and they're supposed to, you know, the meter's supposed to come up and tell you whether it's wet or dry. But a lot of times, if you leave it in the water for too long, it will break it. Or so they're just really cheaply made things. So I don't like to rely on these.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you can tell by putting your
You'll
finger
learn.
in
You'll
there.
kind of start to figure out where you're moving in the right direction. Okay,
Yeah.
our producer Tim, you brought this cute little guy over here in.
This one?
What's happening here? Is it lopsided? What's happening?
Well, this plant might be growing a little bit more on one side than the other. Like maybe that side was closer to the light.
Okay.
You know, so that would just tend to put the light out, more foliage out on that side. But producer also mentioned that once they put this like moss in here, that it did better, and that makes sense because the moss will hold on to the water longer. So it's like a slow time release of water.
Interesting.
And it kind of protects it from cold drafts and stuff, especially this time of year. So it doesn't hurt to put a little bit of moss on top of the soil, and it's kind of cute too.
Nature's insulation. Okay, what about this guy here? This is such an awesome plant.
String of pearls. I get a lot of comments from people that they are very frustrated with this plant. They can't keep it alive. I've had 4 or 5 of them, and I keep killing them. The 2 secrets are it wants bright light on top as much as possible, and you can see all these little bits that are new growth.
Yeah.
So wherever this plant is living, it must be getting a lot of
it's going in the right direction.
Direct light on the top, but also, we won't lift it all the way up, but this pot has holes in the bottom. It has drainage, and this plant likes to be bottom watered because the roots are very shallow. And so when you water it from the bottom, you put it into like a basin of water and let the water soak up through the bottom aeration. places, then the shallow roots are then like activated and go looking for that water that's in the bottom.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of magical that way.
But is that harder to tell too? Also, the over versus under watering? Are you watching the water from the basin underneath?
No, feel how heavy this is.
Yeah,
it's just
there's a lot going on here.
It's just been watered. You can tell.
Yeah,
it'll be really light. Like these are much lighter.
Yeah.
Because they don't have nearly as much water in their soil.
Okay. What are some of the other goodies that you've brought here?
So the #1 pest that people come to me about in the winter are thrips on monsteras. Monstera is like their favorite plant in the collection. So this is neem oil that you can use to protect the big juicy foliage leaves.
Okay.
You want to first clean the leaves off with like a vinegar or soap mixture.
Okay. Just easy, simple.
Yeah.
Household ingredients.
Yeah. Clean like a 10 to 1, like 10 parts water, 1 part of soap or vinegar to clean the bugs off, and then protect it with the neem. So you go back over with a protective layer of neem. And then these are spinoside product it's a systemic drench that when you put water the monstera, you would mix this into the water, and then it would kill any larvae in the soil also.
Okay. And all safe to be inside your house.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. What about a couple of these guys over here? This is a cool. I don't know any of the names of these plants.
This is hens and chicks, or it might be just hens or chicks. I'm not sure, but we're seeing some drying on the bottom, and it's just kind of like shedding of hair, the way that we shed.
Okay.
You know, the bottom layer, and it just depends on the look that you prefer. But you know, if you don't like this long trailing look, I think this is the one. You can just cut that off and remove all the brown, and then reroot it and propagate it for a new plant.
So this has a chance to come back, because I see a lot of brown and I'm panicking. But you're saying this can have a new life.
I think you would go to the places where there's a little bit less and pull that off.
Okay.
And that stimulates new growth too once you pull off dead leaves.
Nice. Okay. A couple more over here.
Yeah, so that's a peace lily, and those yellow leaves on a peace lily, that's classic sign of underwatering. Okay. So what I learned about this plant, that it was obtained last night, and it was like all droopy and dry as a bone. They watered it, and it was wilting, and it came right.
Oh, nice.
Perked right back up. So you would just cut off these. Here, let's just have an action.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here. But you just cut off these yellow leaves here.
And you'll know you're on the right track pretty immediately with the underwatering, because that plant did perk up just from yesterday.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I always like to say too, if the leaf is more than like 50% affected, go ahead and get it off of there so the plant can redirect that energy. Okay. So that one.
And you're taking those all the way down pretty much?
All the way as close as you can to the soil line. Okay. I didn't go super close with that one in there because I didn't want to accidentally hit a healthy one. So. Yeah. So so that one's looking better already,
it looks
so much better.
She's fabulous. We're gonna give her new life. Thank you so much. We have such good tips. Yeah. We can rescue our houseplants. They're gonna be okay.
Absolutely.
We'll have more information on our website at katu.com, and we'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.